Welcome to the SALVANT report. My name is LEGRAND PARISIEN SALVANT, and thanks for the privilege of your time. To help you understand the world we live in, the SALVANT report has garnered information from different sources using their recent report to shed light on multiple events happening around the world. And today, as you can tell, we're going to talk about the 8th session of the United Nations General Assembly, which is taking place right now in New York. In order for us to do that, we're going to give you a little history of that international organization to tell you that the UN officially came into existence on October 24th, 1945. On January 6, 1946, he met for the first time in London. The new organization should endeavor to be a peace-preserving organ of world society. That's what the journal The Economist wrote at that time. The span of years the world has traversed between the foundation of the First League of Nations and the opening in London of the General Assembly of the new United Nations organization was very short. But the new experiment seems to be almost overloaded with the memories, lessons, and precedent of the not very distant past. In themselves, they make neither for optimism nor pessimism. It is true that the first experiment of an organized international society failed. But initial failure need not to be disastrous if its lessons are learned. The belief that right, reason, and goodwill were sufficient basis for world order was probably one of the great obstacles of the working of the First League, and is still the case. What is the United Nations? The United Nations is an international organization that was formed to serve as a place where nations can work together to discuss shared problems and work towards solutions that benefit all of humanity. The United Nations founders were members of the Allied powers during World War II. Additionally, the United Nations, also known as the UN, maintains treaty obligation and ensures that countries included in the organization obey international laws. As the center of world harmony, the UN functions to maintain peace by suppressing acts of aggression throughout the world, helping nations develop friendly relationships with each other, and solving economic, social, cultural, and humanitarian concerns. The United Nations flag is a reflection of this, featuring an emblem of 2 olive branches and a map of the world which symbolize peace and unity. Is that the case what now? We're not going to delve into the speeches of the 193 countries member of the UN who are now in New York from September the 9th to on Monday, discussing the situation of the world. Because what we can say, what we can see, that we're living in a non-civilized world. We are in a world where barbarism is king. As the United Nations was supposed to be a center where all the nations can work together to discuss share problem and work towards solutions that benefit all humanity. But we can see that, and you look at the report about the global trends and a bunch of countries, we can see that the International Rescue Committee put out its 2025 emergency watch list. And in there, it talked to us about a world out of balance. And then we got 300. Let me check it exactly proof. We have, so we can give you the right number. We have 305.1 million people are in need of humanitarian need. And also, if we look at this, it was only 77.9 10 years ago. What is a humanitarian needs means? Being in humanitarian needs means that people are facing threats to their life and health, physical security, rights and dignity, and they need protection and assistance from all the agencies around the world. And the International Rescue Committee have a list of 10 countries for us to look at this year, 2025, where these countries are facing humanitarian crisis, humanitarian needs. Just like you have Sudan, the occupied Palestinian territory, we're talking about Gaza, where you got a lot of a genocide being perpetrated by Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, considered by the International Criminal Court as a war criminal. Ensuite, you got Myanmar, Syria, the South Sudan, Lebanon, Burkina Faso, Haiti, Mali, and Somalia. All these countries are facing what we call the humanitarian crisis. Now, we're not going to, again, focusing on all the speeches of the leaders around the world leaders, that they do that every year. This is the 8th session of the United Nations General Assembly. And the thing changed where all the international press, the television, CNN, MSNBC, etc., report that the plan of the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, take an unusual path in order for it to come to New York, because he was avoiding all the countries who are members of the statute of a WAMP. Now, because of that, because he has a warrant against him as a war criminal, things has changed. In United Nations was not able to stop all the wars in that early years of existence. Now we have Mr. Putin invaded Ukraine February 22nd, 24th, 2022. Now we have what now witnessing live a Holocaust, a genocide in Gaza. And 500,000 Palestinians are assassinated, are killed, destroyed. 98% of the buildings down there, hospital, school, a kindergarten, are being destroyed, obliterated. And where is United Nations, who's supposed to be a place where we work together to discuss, share problems, and work towards solutions that benefit all humanity? What's going on what now in Ukraine? What's going on what now in Gaza? How that benefits all humanity? We thought after 1945 we were not going to have any of these things. Now we can see that the future historian going to have two Holocausts on their hands to write about. The one with Adolf Hitler as he relates to the Jews, and then the one with a Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as he relates to the Palestinians. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about the future using the United Nations General Assembly, what now, to look at what they have that we call the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals are the world's shared plan to end extreme poverty, reduce inequality, and protect the planet by 2030. The SDGs, we can say that means the Sustainable Development Goals were adopted by 193 countries, all the members, in 2015. And the SDGs emerged from the most inclusive and comprehensive negotiation in UN history, and have inspired people from across sectors, geographies, and cultures. Achieving the goal by 2030 will require heroic and imaginative effort, determination to learn about what works, and the agility to adapt to new information and changing needs. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals adopted 10 years ago. How are we doing what now? We have inside of the United Nations Foundation, which focusing on ideas and initiatives that generate a larger impact, advance the SDG imperative to leave no one behind. And they are backed by evidence, practical commitment, and action. What are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that were set 10 years ago? And the goals were adopted by all 193 countries in 2015. And these guys said we have 15 years to work on this and fix our humanity, our planet. When we look at the 225 report from the United Foundation, we see that they are not there yet. And I would suggest to you to Google the United Nations and then or the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, so you can see where they are, because every single one of them has a level of achievement. It will take us days to go through every single one of them and tell you where they are from 2015 when they made that decision, when the 17 Sustainable Development Goals were approved, adopted by 193 countries, member of the United Nations. What we can say is just to give you the goal, and then you can yourself research and find out if you are interested in that goal, to see where the world is in achieving that goal. But we have 17 of them. But when we look at the world out of balance, what now? With 305.1 million people in humanitarian need, with 59 conflicts around the world, where people are killing people, for what? That can give you an idea how far are we from achieving these 17 goals. The first one is no poverty. Imagine that, no poverty. It's a community of shared value. That's what the president of China, Xi Jinping, decided when he came in 2013 with the plan that he had, that they call the Belt and the Road Initiative. He thought at that time that the system that we have now, the international system that we have now, which the US is in charge of, the consequences are poverty, misery, and wars. So we must change. We must have what we call a paradigm shift and see the thing differently, just like they said on the goal for these countries to have the agility to adapt to new information and changing needs. In 2023, we had 110 million refugees, 110 million people leaving their homeland because of climate change, because of political turmoil, and the rest. And you have the United Nations. The United Nations, which as a political analyst, I can question its existence. But unfortunately, the American president, in his speech, was questioning the existence of the United Nations when the US is a member and also a permanent member of the Security Council, where they make decisions. It's supposed to be me questioning the existence of the United Nations, of what they're doing. Is it necessary for that whole assembly, the whole body, to exist? When we have 59 conflicts around the world, when the world is witnessing a Holocaust, a genocide live in Gaza, what are they here for? Anyway, we have to talk about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals because he look at us in the future, not what now. However, what's happening now, it's going to be a huge obstacle of achieving these 17 goals. Number one, no poverty. How are you going to do that? Number two, zero hunger. Goal number three, good health and well-being. And we're not talking about a country, we're talking about the whole world. Goal number four, quality education. Number five, gender equality. You know, in some countries, they don't even send women to school, a young girl to school. There's no school for them, no education. But we're talking about quality education as one goal. Gender equality. Number six, clean water and sanitation. Number seven, goal seven, affordable and clean energy. 8, decent work and economic growth. And you see the disparity between members of society on all the countries. The distribution of wealth. And Forbes just put out the wealth of 400 Americans, and it's equivalent of $6.6 trillion. 400 people. The billionaires, the American billionaires, 400 of them, just came out. And they are worth $6.6 trillion. And you see that what a lot of people call, especially a criminal budget of the U.S. for 25, 22, 26, that the American president signed, unfortunately, on July 4th, the day of their independence. And the result will be 42,000 poor people are going to witness that the food they put on the table is taken away from them. 7 million of them will not have access to health care. But the United Nations talking about decent work and economic growth. It would be 4% of the resources will be taken away from the poor and give them to the rich. 400 of them, which is worth $6.6 trillion. I think when you're listening to me what now, you have to do your own thinking and do your own research. And if you're not going at the end to question the existence of the United Nations. Goal number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. 10, reduce inequalities. I don't know if it's not the same as the gender equality, but reduce inequality. And, okay. Number 11, goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. A lot of cities that can sustain themselves, a community that can provide for themselves. Responsible consumption and production. Responsible. Number 13, climate action. And you see what's going on around the world with hurricane everywhere, flooding. And you have just like the American administration with the Republican that don't even believe in 4 seasons. That's the reason why the American president twice get out of the climate Paris climate accord. And it is done with the idea of helping humanity with the climate crisis. But we're getting out of it. And we are the world first polluters. Life below water, what's going on? Goal 15, life on land. Life below water, what's going on? How to protect it. And then life on land. Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institution. Goal 17, partnership for the goal. All the goals. We think, as it relates to goal number 16, peace, justice, and strong institution. The state is the institution. The democracy rely on institution. The US next year is going to have 250 years of democratic experiences. And we see what's going on right now. It's the institution. If we don't have strong institution, we cannot talk about democracy, we cannot talk about human rights, we cannot about justice. And we can see all around the world that's the problem what now. Early years ago, from the ashes of war, the world planted a seed of hope. One charter, one vision, one promise. The peace is possible when humanity stand together. That's what the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said last June, June 26, 2025, meaning 3 months ago. So when you look at the United Nations, and now you have the General Assembly, which is on its 8th sessions, where you get all the actors, all the world leaders, one after another, giving speeches. And what do exactly the United Nations suppose and must do? When we look at its charter, it said, due to the powers vested in its charter and its unique international character, the United Nations can take action on the issue confronting humanity in the 21st century. And what is it? It includes maintain international peace and security. Can we now talk about international peace and security when we have 59 conflicts around the world now, and we have a Holocaust, act of genocide being perpetrated in plain sight? And we can see that the world is out of balance, and all the countries, almost the European countries, the US, they all lost their moral authority. Nobody can come, what now, and tell Benjamin Netanyahu to stop the killing of women and children. And the 500,000 Palestinians that were killed, some still on the wobbles, 70% of them are women and children. Who he has the moral authority to say stop? The UN can take action on the issue confronting humanity in the 21st century, including protect human rights. You see the war against immigrants everywhere, especially in the US. In Gaza. And we have seen along the way that all the years in the past, with Benjamin Netanyahu come as Prime Minister of Israel, Israel never have any respect for the norm, the international organization, human rights, security of the people. It doesn't protect the human rights of the Palestinians, which they consider them not human. Protect human rights. Delivering humanitarian aid. How is United Nations is doing on that part? When you got starvation, kids being starved in Gaza and everywhere else. 305.1 million people in humanitarian need. And that means, according to the International Rescue Committee, he said that when we talk about humanitarian needs, this is what that means. He said being in humanitarian needs means that people are facing threats to their life and health, physical security, rights and dignity, and they need the protection and assistance from agencies like the International Rescue Committee. 305 million people. And we have the United Nations, and we have 193 members in 193 countries. And all the world leaders, what now in New York, blah, 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 with excellent speeches. And the world is out of balance. What now? 59 conflicts. 305.1 million people in humanitarian needs, 110 million refugees. You do the math. What is the United Nations is doing as it relates to promote sustainable development? They have 17 goals. I just went through all of them. And I mentioned to you that we cannot talk about the level of achievement on every single one of them. You got to Google that yourself. And out of the 17 sustainable development goals, which one you are interested in to see where they are. But one thing is for sure. They have adopted the 17 sustainable development goals in 2015. And they said the goals emerge from the most inclusive and comprehensive negotiation in UN history. And they must achieve these 17 goals by 2030. Where are we now? It will be for you to know, as we suggested, to go and Google the United Nations and see the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and see where they are. The world is really out of balance. If one country, just like the US, via its president, in the opening of the elite sessions of the United Nations, question the existence of United Nations, what about me, as an analyst, who are witnessing all these things, who are doing research and found out what's going on? And these people are members of the Security Council. We talking about the elite session of the United Nations General Assembly. Let me give you an idea. What is the General Assembly? The General Assembly is the main deliberative, policy-making, and representative organ of the United Nations. All 193 member states of the UN are represented in the General Assembly, making it the only UN body with universal representation. What does that universal representation means to us? When this guy responsible for the world, and we have 59 conflicts. We have a Holocaust in plain sight. If you're a member of the Security Council, the US was complaining about the existence of United Nations via his speech when they opened the General Assembly. What's the role of the Security Council? The Security Council has primary responsibility under the UN Charter for the maintenance of international peace and security. He has 15 members, 5 permanent and 10 non-permanent members. Each member has one vote. Under the Charter, all member states are obligated to comply with Council decision. The thing about this is that must be redrawn. We must be rethinking about that. It's just like you have 5 permanent members of the Policy Council, of the Security Council, who has veto power. If they don't like something, if you are a friend of America, of US, nothing that is derogatory to you will go through. Ask Israel. Nothing. If it's not good for you, if it's going to not present the country in a nice, bright light, the US will veto it. The Security Council, maintenance of international peace and security. You tell me, are we living in a world peace? Are we living in a world where security is a normal thing? Are we all secure? It's you. One thing that we know, the UN must be, should be, and was supposed to be an international organization that was formed to serve as a place where nations can work together to discuss shared problems and work towards solutions that benefit all of humanity. Think about it. Thank you for the privilege of your time. Avec vous, with you, the SALVANT report. My name is LEGRAND, PARISIEN SALVANT. And we're going to say hi to our friends, Yves Fizeme, the PDG of Radio Delta. Mr. Fizeme, we are thinking about you. God is good all the time God is good. Be in good health. Get well soon. The SALVANT report. À la prochaine.